Good morning, Pool Player Nation. Welcome back to Orlando, Florida for continuing coverage of the 2024 U.S. Amateur Championship presented by the APA, and our coverage brought to you by our good friends at PoolDog.com. I'm your host, Jason Bowman, and I'm joined by Double J, Jeremy Jones. Jeremy, so far at this year's U.S. Amateur Championship, all eyes have been on the women's division, but we're about to get our first look at some of the players in this year's Open division.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be good stuff. Of course, we don't have our reigning champion. That's unfortunate, Brett Stoudemire, but we're all thinking about him and as these Open players move forward.
Yeah, the Open division of the U.S. Amateur Championship is comprised of 128 players, the top players, amateur players from across North America. And we want to show you real quick a look at the U.S. Amateur Championship format. Of course, the Open division, double elimination up until the final round. It is a race to 7, 5 games of 8-ball, up to 8 games of 9-ball. The winner of the lag can opt to choose either the format or take the break. Now let's meet our two players who will be competing in our opening match here. We have from Stamford, Connecticut, Joe Giribaldo, and from Woodlands, Texas, former U.S. Amateur champion Ernesto Bayaua. The guys are ready to get things started down in the pit. Let's take you down for the start of this match. Got Joe on the left, Ernesto on the right, lagging here. Ernesto will win the lag. That was kind of an interesting exchange there, Jeremy. As we mentioned, the winner of the lag can opt for either the break or the format, and it looks like basically Joe just kind of assumed that Ernesto would take the break, which he, certainly appeared to be as well, but then he kind of asked Ernesto which format. So, again, this is the opening round of the Open division. I do have one female participant in the field of 128. And as Jeremy mentioned in the opening, unfortunately our defending champion, Brett Stoudemire, out of Maryland, unable to make it to the event, had some personal family issues they're dealing with back in Maryland, and our thoughts and prayers are with Brett and his family, wishing them nothing but the best. As Joe prepares the rack here. Again, we are using the template racks here on the 9-foot diamond tables, aramith balls. Also, Action Cues, one of our sponsors, and our good friends at PoolDog.com. They are the presenting sponsor of all of our live streaming coverage. From the Hyatt Regency here in Orlando, Ernesto takes a look at the rack. And is prepared to break this first rack.
Yeah, on the little intermission between our last match and this one, I saw Amy outside who got the victory against Teresa. And she said that, yeah, definitely this table's playing a little different than the outer tables, a little more slick. So just a lot of times you can play it a little more simply, it seems like, with the slick table. But
powerful break by Ernesto. Doesn't yield much result, though. Another dry break. Get our first look at Joe Giribaldo out of Stamford, Connecticut.
Yeah, you'll see the players take a little more time on this first shot, trying to figure out a plan for this 8-ball rack. Both playable, the solids and the stripes. Kind of like the solids myself a little bit more, but It's going to take on the 4. Looks like to get to that 162 as quick as possible. That looks like the most trouble in the rack.
Joe has qualified for this event twice before, the most recent being 2022. Prior to that, 2014.
Did he really get much shape on anything there? End up a little shy getting on the 1. A little much getting on the 3, so a dilemma early. Man, there's so many great players out there, and of course you can only have so many in the main event, but sometimes the qualifications is just about as tough as the main event.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like that on the pro scene many times with qualifiers for the world championships and different things. Oh, he could get at the 1, and he played it nicely off the 2 to open this 2-6. Okay, so it'll be the 2 next, the 6 after, and then things start to get a little tricky coming down table.
This is the only open division match we'll carry today here. We'll shift back over to the women's division for the 12 p.m. Eastern round. That'll be the hot seat match. Semifinal match at 1:30, and the championship in the women's division should kick off around 3 p.m., maybe a little bit later, depending on how those other matches go. But we will have all the coverage, all of it brought to you by our friends at PoolDog.com from here in Orlando throughout the day today. And then we'll be back and do it all again tomorrow, focused on the open division all through Saturday when we have the championship. So a lot of exciting action still to come here. Make sure you stay tuned to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel. Give us a follow. Get notifications as we go live. You can also follow along at CompuSport.
Yeah, nice shot there. It was pretty tight getting at that 7 going forward. Gonna have to play this somewhat easy to hold for the 8. Good stuff so far after the dry break from Ernesto. Joe looks to get on the board first with a pretty routine 8-ball on the side.
Nice run out there by Joe. He takes an early 1-0 lead in this race to 7. He'll have the break when we return in just a moment. All right, welcome back to coverage of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship from Orlando, Florida.
He's going to get a strike down. Another big break off. Look at the spread from the overhead. Really nothing touching each other. Lots of space between all the balls. Now, does he have a shot at the stripes? Any stripes, really? Maybe a long distance 14 ball. Not a whole lot there. Tell you, I might play a safety here to open. I might just chip the left side of the 9 and drop below the 5. Problem there is I'm going to leave a return safety for Ernesto on the 5. So he may have to go after this 14. Big reward if he can make it, though, but still a difficult layout with that 9 ball tied up on the 8. 13's a little covered up as well. Like to take care of this end of the table, being the 7-4-2 and maybe the 1. Leave the 3-6 and then the 5 last for the 8. Probably shoots the 7 here.
And this is a race to 7 in the open division. A couple more racks needed than in the women's division. One in the side for Ernesto. Ernesto out of Woodlands, Texas, just outside of Houston.
Yeah, he's in perfect position really here to take the 6 on. Then the 3, then the 4-2, and the 5 last. Could shoot the 3 now and get on that 4-2, but I don't, for some reason, like leaving the 6. If I'm good on it now, I go ahead and take that ball away. I really don't see it being much of a benefit later. Looks like a stop shot here on the 4 is good. That'll give you an angle on the 2 because you want to get, somewhat close to the 5 because you do have to hold the ball there. So it should just be one rail kind of tracking the cue ball at the 5. Make sure you don't flirt with getting behind the 13. This table does play a little more slick. Just don't let the cue ball get away. That line looks really nice. And he got somewhat close so he can hold the cue ball easily.
Nice response there by Ernesto. Evens this matchup at a game apiece. He'll have the break when we return in just a moment. And we are back here at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, Florida, continuing coverage of the 2024 U.S. Amateur Championship. This is open division play. Joe Giribaldo preparing the rack for Ernesto Bayaua. They are tied at 1 rack apiece in this race to 7.
Yeah, Joe there in rack 2 broke the balls nice. Really didn't have any options hardly besides a very difficult opening 14 ball from distance and got away, and Ernesto made a nice clearance. So after one dry break from Ernesto, he's going to change his break thoughts and location, going to the second ball break. Very good connection there. Table's been stingy, though. So now a break, another dry break with a very good spread. Really both balls, both sets of balls, the stripes and the solids, very, very doable. Kind of like the solids a bit myself. I might take the 4 away now and get on the 1. And from there, really, you got the 5's got a couple pockets. The 3's out in the center. It's got some pockets. The 6 leads you to the 7 and the 2 pretty easily. Stripes playable also. You could play the 2 now and clear the 2 and the 7 and just work on the upper part of the table. That's probably the move. Yeah, I like that. Probably shoot the 2 and the 7 and again just play on one half the table. That being the top half if it's the solids. Sometimes it's some of your hardest decisions is when they both are very playable, Jason, and the stripes are open and the solids are not, it becomes a little more obvious, but when they're both fairly open, don't panic, oh, maybe I'm making a bad decision. Just realize that they're both playable for a reason, and that's why the decision is tough. So wanted a little more there, probably to get at the 3 and then the 5 a little quicker, trying to save the 6 to get on the 8. This is going to sneak past the 5. Got a little thinner here on the one that he wanted. He's going to end up going into the 10, I think. Might elevate the cue and kind of stun around the 10 and the 15, but even though the 6 is hanging, you don't want to get awkwardly over a ball. Still have to gain position on the 8.
Some other results from the early round in the women's division. Kelly Parker knocked out Rachel Lang. And Kendra Prestegard defeated Nathalie Shabbat. So Kelly and Kendra still alive on the one-loss side of the bracket, joined by Teresa Garland. And the loser of Gwen Sharpton and Debbie Tetchert, who are still playing.
That was a real nice shot there. Elevating near the rail. Kind of stunned, drawing the cue ball to avoid any collision with the stripes. And another nice clearance, just like game number 1 after a dry break. From Ernesto. Joe looked like he's gotten the job done here in game 3 as well.
All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with continuing coverage of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship in just a moment.
This one is using actually 10 balls. So what exactly is a tangent? There's, in my opinion, 3 types of bridge: the closed bridge, the open bridge, and the rail bridge. We're gonna start with the closed bridge. Now, if you practice this, it's really gonna help you to go from a 2 to a 3. In this episode today, we're gonna cover how to go from a 3 to a 4. Let's get into it. The more you're gonna do it, see, as you can see, I touch sometimes a little bit of it. And 8, right? So to technically have 8 zones for 10 balls, so you have a little bit room to spare. I really hope this was useful, and I cannot wait to see you for another video. Later, everybody.
Welcome back to continuing coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship Open Division. Joe Giribaldo now leading 2 racks to 1 in this race to 7 over Ernesto Bayaua. Joe once again with the break, looking to extend his lead. Ooh. 8 ball got kicked right towards that side pocket. Does pocket a ball on the break.
Yeah, I think he made one of each.
Did he?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think a stripe.
I was watching that 8 ball.
Yeah, just last second, a stripe fell on the side as well. Yeah, and besides a starter on the solids, really like those. The stripe's very playable also. Doesn't have much to shoot at with the solids. I don't know how thin the 4 is in the side. That would be pretty ideal to drop on the 1. Like to start with something easier. You know, 8 ball, you don't want to start with a missable ball unless you have to. Maybe the case here. Now the stripes are playable, but again, the solids do look better. And the problem is, you know, he can't just shoot it how he wants. He wants to hold for the 1 because the 1's kind of by itself up the table, and this is the shot to get on that 1. Nice shot. Didn't get much angle, so working the cue ball, I don't know how much of an option he has there. May have to shoot the 7 from some distance, maybe. Yeah, maybe aggressive going forward. 2 cushions here. May just stun out 1 rail. Yeah, there's that aggressive 2 rails I was talking about. I think it was worth it. You know, you fall on the 2 ball maybe to take care of another problem. He's going to have an awkward stretch. Wants to come out 1 rail for the 3, I believe, in the side. Clean up with the 5 and 8 last. Didn't get as much on the cue ball there, and now pretty tough decision. I don't know if he has anything on the 5, really. Don't think it goes in the side past the 9. Now he's going to have to take a funny angle on the 3 in the side. Does he ease it, trying to hold? Does he add some speed here on the cue ball? Trying to come around the table for the 5. Nothing easy, though. He has really much of a pocket. This is cuttable. Doesn't appear the bank goes. Looks awfully thin.
Ernesto Bayaua now with his shot at the table.
enormous favorite to win Game 3. No problems out there with all of Joe's solids gone. Maybe gotten a little thin here on the 11. Maybe it's not cuttable. Looks like he's going to play a little bump safety, trying to bring the 11 back on the cue ball. Yeah, it's easy to be light. Not going to leave an easy shot, but, I mean, considering where he was and what he had on the last 8, and probably thought he wouldn't get back to the table. Probably pretty motivated
right,
here.
Yeah. Another opportunity now for Ernesto. Looking to even this matchup at 2 racks apiece. Again, 5 racks of 8 ball up to 8 racks of 9 ball. Race to 7. This is the opening round of the open division of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship. Ernesto won this event back in 2011. Back at Strokers there in Tampa.
Nice recovery shot there. Yeah, you want your little triangle here. Should be like the 14. Come across 9, then 15 in the side. Do it a number of ways, but you go 15, 14, 9. You go 15, 9, 14. It's kind of what you're feeling a lot of times.
And a nice job by Ernesto to capitalize on the missed 8-ball. Evens this matchup at 2 games apiece. And he will have the break when we return here in just a few moments. And welcome back to Orlando, Florida for continuing coverage of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship. Ernesto Bayaua at the table preparing to break. Looking to take his first lead of the match. Has trailed 1-0 and 2-1. Now we're all even at 2 for the final game of the 8-ball set. After this, they'll move into the 9-ball portion of the match.
Yeah, that would be the breaking spot forever if you can hit him like that. What a break. Did he get one of each? I think, yeah. One of each, so that's the premium.
Big shout out to our sponsors. Diamond Tables, Airmouth Balls, Action Cues, and the folks at PoolDog.com, your go-to for all of your holiday shopping for the pool player in your life.
Yeah, he's really got options here. There's just really kind of one problem with both the stripes, that being the 13 a bit, and then the solids, the 1. I kind of feel like the stripes are a little better just because the 9 and 10 are there. Of course, there's places to get on that 1 ball he's looking at, so could shoot the 7 and take care of that 6-5-4. Some places to get on the 1 he was looking at. He's going to try and get on that 1 quickly. Off the 6, it appears. He's kind of hitting down on the ball, so maybe going 1 row into the 5. I don't know, he played it inside.
In addition to winning the 2011 U.S. Amateur Championship, Ernesto has also picked up our singles championship titles, I think in both 8-ball and 9-ball out in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. The 8-ball Classic and then 9-ball Shootout, the top tier in each.
All right, we'll see if he decides to try and get on that 1 now off the 5. There's some space over near the 8 to get between the 9-10. Could wait. The 1's cuttable from just above the 2 where that's at now. So he does have some options. May have fallen kind of straight. Looks like he's got a little angle on the 5. Could just kind of stun by the 8 and take a cut on the 2 to come 1 rail into the 13 with the cue ball. Pretty natural.
You can follow along in the tournament. CompuSport. You can download their app or go to their website. Keep track of all the action here at the Hyatt Regency Orlando. Ooh.
Yeah, that happens whenever you're trying to really concentrate on the cue ball path. He did get on that 1, but took his eye off the 5. So now it looks like Joe could shoot the 10 and go forward and kind of bump the 13. Kind of open that problem. Have the 15 left. Use the 11 and 14 last to get on a tough 8 ball. Still lots to see and unfold here in rack number 4. Or excuse me, rack number 5. He couldn't quite get into the 13, so tried to get into the 1 to kind of remove some things, but again, similar to Ernesto, kind of worrying about the cue ball maybe. Took his eye off the 10. Now I'm not sure if there's an issue here for Ernesto. I thought he could shoot the 1 and hold soft enough for the 2.
All right, that'll bring Joe back to the table. Again, this is the final rack of the 8-ball set. We'll move into the 9-ball portion after this final 8-ball drops. See who will hold that advantage and that break as we move into 9-ball.
Yeah, and he's got to make a nice shot here, long distance on the 10. Got to work the cue ball a little bit just to really play a safety later with the 7 and 5 hanging for Ernesto. Don't really see a future run out, I don't think anyways. Been fooled many times before, but this one lays awfully tough. Maybe debating a bit of a safety here on the first shot. Playing a real first here, maybe. Oh. Put a ton of stroke on that. Yeah, I wonder what his thoughts are here. I thought he may set up to try and play a safety, kind of pocketing the 7 with the 11 and run the cue ball safe behind the 8 maybe or something like that. But I think he's really contemplating trying to get out somehow. Pretty tricky. Well, the only thing I can figure from here is he's going to stop the cue ball and try and pocket the 11 after the 7. Is he going to try and work the cue ball somewhere? No, just hold the ball. Looks like it. You can come one row out. Come straight across off the 7. Could draw this, could roll off the left side. Talked about it yesterday that coming out of the pocket with the ball hanging, not the easiest to really gain control of the cue ball. It's like he's going to draw the cue ball.
And Ernesto takes his first lead of the match, 3-2. Pull a few balls off the table, prepare for the 9-ball set, and Ernesto will have the break when we return here in just a few moments.
He did it. He did it. Holy smokes, what a shot.
The 2 defeats the 9. David has beaten Goliath. Welcome back to continuing coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship from Orlando, Florida. Ernesto Bayaua has just taken his first lead of this match. Opening round of the Open Division. We're now in the 9-ball set. This is a race to 7. Very powerful break there by Ernesto. Wow. 5 balls on the break.
Yeah, there's a leak on the table, it seems like. Of course, he hit him awfully square. It's always had a big break, Ernesto. Little off angle, just going to be the draw stroke. And he caught that a little thinner than he wanted. He's got a little bit of a stretch. Tall man, though. That shouldn't be a problem.
Makes quick work of that rack. Extends his lead to 4-2, and he'll have the break once again when we return in just a few moments.
I can't believe it. You did it. We're going to Vegas. Oh my.
And we're back here at the Hyatt Regency in Orlando, Florida. Continuing coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship. Ernesto Bayaua breaking once again in the 9-ball set. Made quick work of that last rack. Helps when you pocket 5 balls on the break, I suppose.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt. A few of them tracking in those same directions, but it's made 2. It's going to be snookered here. So maybe our first push out of the match.
See if Joe wants to take this shot or give it back to Ernesto.
I wouldn't say, I mean, there's a playable shot there. Playing the 3, you want to bank it back up between the 8-6 and go the side rail with the cue ball and just kind of kill the cue ball behind the 7. But this is touchy, and this is not easy. This is a good push out, meaning there's definitely something playable, but if he takes it on, he's got to earn it. That being the snooker. Easy to overcut this ball, and the 3 catches the 8. Okay, killed the cue ball nicely. He's going to leave a window to get at the 3. A lot of distance, though. As I used to say, a lot of green. Now it's gone to gray.
A lot of gray?
Here. Yeah.
Oh, nice shot.
Yeah, very well struck. And now he could just use the 1-rail path to the short cushion and then up at the 5. Shouldn't flirt with the 9 or anything like that. Just a simple roll shot off the edge of the 4. Maybe could have used another foot or so, but should be all right. All right, looks like he's going to bump the 9. A lot of times you want to stay away from bumping balls, but if it makes sense, why not? That was certainly the case here.
Ernesto Bayaua now heating up, leading 5-2. He'll hold the break once again when we return in just a moment. See if Jonathan can make some magic happen somehow.
Oh, she made it, and there's an unbelievable chance here for a team that was down Hill 0. Never over till it's
Yeah,
over,
that's
people.
true.
What a comeback by these two. Holy moly, people.
And we are back once again, continuing coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship from Orlando, Florida. Ernesto Bayaua now leading 5-2. Another very effective break for Ernesto, this time 4 balls on the break.
And it just generates a lot of power. Just like we talked about earlier, just has really good timing with everything he does in sports, it seems like. Of course, that long frame doesn't hurt.
Certainly the most effective break we've seen thus far in this year's event.
Yeah, the 9-ball side of things, Joe has only gotten to respond off that push out so far. Oh, he may be able to show us one here. Maybe trying to break these balls out. A lot of power. The draw stroke coming all the way to the short cushion, then back underneath. Got a fluke.
Oh.
Yeah, Ernesto is a player you said already that, won both disciplines, the 8-ball and the 9-ball out there in Vegas, and really kind of plays all games well. Being from the Houston area, plays a little one pocket, plays banks. Of course, plays 8 and 9-ball. That's the main games. This safety right here is going to show you that it ended up a little short. Joe's got a shot. Looks like Joe can't do a whole lot concerning with the cue ball. Just kind of pocket the 5 and go at the 6, I think. I think that's what makes sense. Trying to get a little bump there, but came away. Really nice shot after really not having much for a while. Learn something from these two, though. They really settled themselves before they decide to pull the trigger. Really commit to the shot. Ernesto with a very doable 3-ball run here to get on the heel quickly. Was tied at 2 apiece. This would be, I think, 5 in a row for him. I think he did trail 2-1 actually.
Mm-hmm. Kind of hit another gear when we got into the 9-ball set behind that powerful break.
Yeah, that break really is kind of the energy and whatnot to get the players going.
He is now on the hill and a chance to put this match away when we return in just a few moments. Welcome back to continuing coverage of the U.S. Amateur Championship from Orlando, Florida. Ernesto Bayaua has opened up a commanding 6-2 lead behind a very powerful 9-ball break. He is breaking once again on the hill, chance to put this match away.
Yeah, gets a lot out of it. Look for the 1 on the side, the 2 down. Corner. I missed the 1, but still going to make a few balls. He's got a nice bank on the 1 also that I think he'll attack with. Just got to draw the cue ball a little bit. Maybe stun draw the cue ball depending on how the bank lays. And he's definitely going for the win here. Feels like this is the winning shot.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you can see the setup from here. The 4's near, the 5, 8, and 9 grouped together nicely on the bottom end. So I don't think we're going to get another look at Joe. But he'll be back along with Ernesto.
Yep, double elimination. This is the opening round of the Open Division. But ever since we moved to this 9-ball set, it has been all Ernesto.
Yeah, I don't think Joe has pocketed a ball in this 9-ball side. He had one look, really at a push shot, I think it was. But then Ernesto on one mistake got a little bit of a roll, but it's been pretty perfect pool overall for the former champion.
Oh, big mistake there, though. Now a
Change.
chance for Joe. See if he can capitalize. Just when it looked like this match was over, new life.
And I'll tell you, Joe broke the balls really well on the 8-ball also, so you got to believe if he can get to the breaking end, you just never know.
Joe takes advantage of the mistake, picks up his third rack, and he will carry the break when we return in just a moment.
This one is using actually 10 balls. So what exactly is a tangent? There's, in my opinion, three types of bridge: the closed bridge, the open bridge, and the rail bridge. We're gonna start with the closed bridge. Now, if you practice this, it's really gonna help you to go from a 2 to a 3. In this episode today, we're gonna cover how to go from a 3 to a 4. Let's get into it. The more you're gonna do it, see, as you can see, I touch sometimes a little bit of it. And 8, right? So to technically have 8 zones for 10 balls, so you have a little bit room to spare. I really hope this was useful, and I cannot wait to see you for another video. Later, everybody.
All right, back here at the U.S. Amateur Championship in Orlando, Joe Giribaldo, who looked like he was headed towards the one-loss side of the bracket, has found new life. Thanks to an untimely miss by his opponent, Ernesto Bayaua. We'll see now if Joe can carry that momentum, close the gap even further in this match.
All right, kind of cross the one over. Got to be careful with that. Not going to get results, but the dry break is going to hurt him here. But that's kind of the one way to miss the wing ball with the template, breaking from the side rail, like right there. He was breaking from his left. As long as you don't cross the one over on the right and you hit the one fairly solid or even a hair on the same side you're breaking from, usually the wing ball is going to go. And a push out coming. Has to be declared. May try and tie a ball up here. Maybe the 8 on the... Oh, watch out. Cue ball. Okay. Maybe a little closer than he wanted. That being the cue ball to that corner. This is going to work out nicely. Very good control on the cue ball and the one ball. Good control on the kick shot, trying to leave Joe off of something offensive. Not sure if he still hasn't figured out the safety he wants or if he's contemplating maybe attacking on this one to a bank, kind of where the three's at. Three making for a little bit of a bigger pocket. Trying to play the safety. He's actually going to serve up that pocket for the one. Yeah, 3-4 combination's not too difficult if he can get in position to play it. I think he's supposed to try and get there, it looks like. All right, he's going forward somewhat. He's going to need a friendly bump. Got somewhat of one. All right, played the safety, maybe trying to dress up a combination if he was to get ball in hand. Difficult hit here. He's going to one rail above the 9, which I think he is. There's only a portion of the 3 he's really going at. I like to go 2 rails here underneath the 3 ball, even though not a lot of safeties there. That kind of kick from this position, but I think a little easier hit though. Great shot. Pressure was on, too, with Ernesto on the hill. Very good shot there from Joe. Looks like he may be just edging this, trying to go up behind the 8, using the 7-5 also as a snooker. Very good touch. Not the easiest shot to get the speed right when you're really hitting the ball thin. Thicker, not so hard, but edging it, the speed can get away easily.
Grabs the jump cue. Time to let it fly.
Yeah, he's going to jump kick here. He doesn't want to go over the full 8, so I think he's going to jump and kick to the side cushion. Maybe just having to go over a piece of the 7, is it? Easy to let up on this because you're going into the cushion. You feel like you may fly off the table with a little too much speed. And he jumped over the 3. Went to the rail and hopped directly over it.
It'll be ball in hand for Ernesto now, trying to close out this match.
Yeah, it looks like maybe Ernesto's going to play it pretty safe here and just... Can he get at the 4 to pocket the 4? I thought he had to play a safety here. Kind of knocking this away and holding the cue ball underneath the green 6. And hitting down on the ball, so I think that's what he's doing. So Joe, even though probably snookered, he's going to get another chance, I think. Yeah, held the cue ball. I'll tell you, he's played some really, really jam-up safeties here, though, making the kick shots very low percentage. Just got to come one rail at this, I think. This is okay. 2 rails underneath. He's going to have to aim way down, though, the way this table's playing. It's going to be an awkward stretch, I think. Really like kicking to the short cushion where the 9's at and just coming one rail at the 4. Yeah, and it's always hard with the bridge as well because you're kind of going into the rail. It's easy to kind of let up or even push through too much, and then the ball react quite off what you're expecting. I kind of like the kick angle he's on. Needs a little draw with it, maybe a hair of left English. I'm surprised he hadn't noticed the one cushion just directly at it. Off the short rail near the 9, that's a good view. You can see there's plenty of space to kick, just a little past the first diamond maybe and come one rail right at the 4. He's looking to try and go multiple rails off the backside. And that's got merit, but hard to judge, and believe it or not, you could hit it well and not get a rail after contact. So if he's coming 3 cushions behind it, which I think he is, short rail, left side rail, end rail, he's got to put a lot of speed on this. Yeah, that, again, even if he contacted, I'm not sure it had to get a rail. So this, what should be winning game for Ernesto, he's had to earn it with a lot of good safeties, I'll tell you.
Showing a lot of patience.
Mm-hmm. Let's overhit this a bit. Shouldn't be a big problem, but said there was one lady in the open division. But it's a lady from Seattle that I saw walking through earlier, Frances. She actually was the only lady that made it into the open division last year.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
2 years in a row, huh?
Mm-hmm. Pretty solid cueist.
What's her name?
Frances.
First name or last name?
Last name, Francis,
okay.
yeah. All right. It was a missed 5 ball at 6-2, was it?
Yep, for Ernesto.
Yeah.
Yep, rattled that 5.
Hair
Extended this match.
Excuse me there, Jason. Hair shy perfect, but should be okay. Ernesto with those, again, that good touch should be able to kill the cue ball pretty easily here. No reason to go back and forth. He can do that if he wants, but pocket plays pretty big with the light speed. Oh, he came across. Gave us a little sweat.
And he pockets that 9 in the corner, takes this opening match 7-3. So congratulations to Ernesto Bayaua winning his opening round match. He'll continue on the winner's side of the bracket. Joe Giribaldo will shift over to the one-loss side of the bracket. And we will be back in just a few moments with continuing coverage of this year's U.S. Amateur Championship.